Hello my friends and welcome back to another Brotato Nightmare random run, where we take a random character, random weapon, on a random map, and try to beat Nightmare mode with it. Hope you're all doing well. Let's see what we've got today. Okay, we have the Streamer, which with random weapons is pretty challenging. This is on the Abyss. I have done a Streamer run, let me just make sure. No, I think I did that during the beta. So we were on the Abyss, and we'll random our weapon. We have Laser Gun. Laser Gun is a pretty tough weapon for the Streamer because attack speed is very important to help us not have to move all the time. So not a weapon I'm happy about rolling here. And you can see we're already having to move right at the beginning of this run. Trying to get a tick of materials, but I'm kind of messing up and not moving far enough away. I was going to try to get that tree, but the first wave already going pretty badly. Let's roll here, and I'll ban these two items, and then I'm going to roll again looking for more laser guns. Plant I'm going to leave in the pool, because with laser gun we are probably going to end up we're probably going to end up relying on regeneration rather than lifesteal. Alright, we only found 2 weapons also, so not only did we get a really rough roll for character and weapon combo, we are also struggling with having rolled poorly in our first shop. So I'm trying to pick up at least enough materials to get us to where we're making 2 every tick soon. But for now, that isn't happening, so we're going to have to just tank for a little bit, and the coffee will help a ton. Obviously, with laser gun, that's very important. I'm just going to take 5% damage here. We lose damage on the Streamer, and I don't think I can afford to spend any of my money re-rolling there. I'll buy the gun and mutation I'm leaving in the pool, and then I'm going to roll here looking for another gun. Turret we're going to lock. That gives us armor because we're the Streamer. And can I afford to reroll here? I think not. So I'm just going to go into wave 3 with only 3 weapons. And that's going to be kind of a nightmare. I'm going to pick up some of these materials and try to position where I won't have to move, but that spitter alien made me have to move immediately. So I'm giving up again a lot of income. I'm going to do a lot of walking to get to this tree and also a safe spot where I don't have to move for a little bit. And then we can at least get to a +2 income. With the Streamer, you want to move, when you have to move, you want to move a lot. We'll take 5 attack speed here to try to keep ourselves static for as long as possible. When you have to move on the Streamer, you want to move a lot because you want to be able to stand still for a full second and start triggering your passive again. Oh, I did not think that thing was going to hit me. I need to run over here to the tree to heal back up. Had to move there to stop that one from hitting me as well. And I'm going to pick up some materials to get to 67, and because at that point we're at least making 2 per second. And then I probably need to start saving money soon. I'm going to recycle the cog. That gives me some extra income. We'll take the ranged damage or the attack speed. I'm just going to take attack speed here. And then I'm going to buy the laser gun, ban the charcoal, and I think I'm going to hold with 75 materials. I would really have liked to be able to push to 100. Or I guess I'm going to reroll once to try to find another laser gun, but I want to keep at least 67 so that I can start making 2 per pick immediately at the beginning of the wave. And then I'm going to run around until I get 100, and then we can be making 3 per tick. Alright, so bad start. Really, really rough start with a dangerous weapon character combo. But we've recovered a little bit. If I get a bunch more attack speed, we might be okay. Gonna pick up some materials here. Very important to do that. Make sure we're breaking the trees. And now we're making 5 per tick, so not horrible. A turret, great find, of course. That's just a 2 armor upgrade. And then here I'm going to take 3 ranged damage to make sure that we're one-shotting things. I'm going to spend down to 100 materials this wave, I think. And do I want the fertilizer? Do I want the laser gun? I think we can get away with taking the fertilizer here, lock the laser gun, and then we'll go to wave 6. I think our damage is okay enough. One thing I haven't memorized is which of the full projectile, which of the environmental projectile patterns allow you to stand still at the start and which require you to move. Some of them have each property. We're also a ranged character on the Abyss, so we are going to be generating the projectiles from the pufferfish. We're going to be generating extra lampreys from the blobfish, so that part's going to be dangerous. And of course, will force us to move pretty frequently with the pufferfish. But we've recovered a little bit. I'm going to take 10% attack speed here. It's so important that I get attack speed. And then I'm going to spend down to, I think, 200 held materials. So we'll buy the laser gun. We'll ban Gummy Berserker, and then I will roll. And Scar is interesting for this character because you do get a lot less in the way of levels, since the streamer passive doesn't give you levels. But I think, so Scar is less efficient, but also still pretty important. So I think I'm going to buy it here. I'm going to not buy the bait. That'll force us to move at the beginning of the wave, which we don't want. And then I'm going to roll. We'll buy fertilizer because the levels from harvesting, or the materials from harvesting, give you levels. Injection is normally worth buying, but our HP is really low. So I'm actually just going to roll here. And I'll lock a turret, weird food, and laser gun. Great shop for us. And then I'm going to lock power generator and we'll ban it. We will be buying percent speed, but it's losing 5% damage for no value. The streamer passive that reduces your speed doesn't matter to the power generator. It only counts permanent speed. But losing 5 damage for no current value when we have no move speed at the moment is not where we want to be. Alright, so I'm going to do some movement to gain the passive buffs to pick off the big bruiser enemies, the walrus and the goblin shark there. And then we're going to hold still again. There is a tree in the top left. One item I would really love would be loot worm, so that I don't have to move to pick up these materials or to kill trees. But I am going to give up a few ticks of my passive here in order to get those tree kills. Real materials are more valuable than the passive, so although we lost money doing that, we got an item and we got some levels, which is pretty important. We'll take the weird food, goat skull, I'll recycle, ice cube. I don't currently have a way to apply elemental damage, but I might later. I think I still just want the money more. Do I want 10 harvesting here? I guess we can take 10 harvesting. And then I'm going to buy these items. We'll ban the power generator and we'll roll. I will take the metal for sure. Definitely all stats that I want. The corrupted shard I think is worth buying as well. I'm going to try to save 300 materials this wave, I think. I'll buy the Catling gun. That's more damage and it works even when we're not standing still, which is awesome. And the cake gives me a little more survivability. And then I think I'm just locking these two. I'm going to throw in one reroll as well to try to find some more powerful items. The 3 turrets that we've found are pretty nice. They give me 6 armor already. And so that means that if I start taking damage, it hopefully won't be massively severe. Now, the problem that I have right now is that I have no healing at all, other than consumable drops. So that anglerfish just kind of wandering up to me and hitting me was pretty bad. I'm going to have to do some movement here. Oops. Okay, well, I was trying not to walk into those lamprey attacks. We've also gotten 0 consumable drops this entire wave. There's 1 up here, so I can finally heal a little bit. But this wave was made much harder by the fact that we have no healing, and I had to do a lot of movement to evade the extra lamprey spawns. So my income was just not as high as I would have liked. I'll take 6 HP here, and then I think we are going to be building dodge. So I'll take the 12% dodge. We have a blindfold as well. And then I'll buy these. Incendiary turret is 2 armor, and also is actually relevant damage. Garden is a great structure because it's much more useful as an actual structure than these turrets, or incendiary turret, and it also still gives us the bonus armor. And I'll take the head injury. I think I'm going to sit on 300 materials again, so I'm going to lock all of these items. I need to be a little less greedy, I think, with my held material counts than I would normally be, just because this is Nightmare Mode. Enemies are more dangerous. I can't get too weak. All right, the cat isn't a loot worm. I was thinking it would go kill that tree for us. Starting to take a few hits. I'm going to run back towards the garden where we get to heal, but I do have to still do a bunch of movement. Now, the thing with the streamer is your passive is so good, you do not have to be constantly standing still. Just getting the occasional tick, you know, if you trigger it only every 3 seconds, you're still making a ridiculous amount of money. I think people get a little too wrapped up in trying to trigger the streamer passive all the time, instead of, you know, gaining levels, making sure that they're not dying, and that's one of the reasons that people have a lot of trouble with this character. I'll take 8% damage here, and then I'm going to buy these items. I'll take the Insanity. We get a reroll, and we do get 2x crit damage on laser guns. Improved tools, actually pretty nice for us. Bowler Hat costs me a bunch of stats that we do care about, but I think is still worth buying here. And do I go down to 300 materials again? I think that's okay. I'm going to buy the improved tools. Attack speed matters so much, and it actually does help increasing our garden and incendiary turret fire as well. We can build some engineering. We have a decent number of structures, so if I find engineering for cheap, I'll pick it up. I'm not going to buy the pearl. I think that is too greedy, given where we're at and the character that we're playing. Alright, so attack speed, still the #1 stat that we care about. Currently just trying to get a bunch of triggers of my passive here. While we still have the opportunity to do so, the enemies will eventually force us to move. Do some movement there to clear the hacker. Also, my garden is in the top right. Very important to keep track of where the garden is so that I can run to it when I need to heal. And I will do that now. I'm not going to be able to get that tree. We just don't have the attack speed or clear speed to get across the map safely, especially and we'd be giving up a lot of money to do so. I have to move here to use the extra attack speed and damage to clear those. I have to move again for the last 5 seconds of this wave because of the walruses. Otherwise, we're just going to get run over by them. All right, so kind of a rough wave for us, to be honest, but we made it through. I'm going to roll here looking for attack speed. And I'm going to roll again. Range damage, also very helpful. We have very low range damage, but I think I still just need attack speed so much more than anything else. I missed a bunch of times, though, so we'll take +3 ranged damage. I'm not going to buy a second bowler hat. I think that's too greedy. And then I am going to spend down here. We'll buy turret, we'll buy baby squid, even though the regen is negative currently and we need attack speed. Such a good item. I'm going to spend down to 0 this wave so that we can kill the elite quickly. And we'll roll. Lucky Charm costs range damage, but I do think is worth buying. And then here... Okay, nice. This is a great shop for us, giving me some lifesteal. I think we're going to buy the level 4 laser gun and the level 1 laser gun. I think this helps the most going into this wave. And then we're going to stay mobile at the beginning of this wave, use the bonus damage from the streamer to kill the elite really quickly. And, you know, we've spent down our bank, so we're no longer suffering the penalties. And then once the elite is dead, we can start building our income back up again. Picking up a bunch of materials here to try to get to like 100 before I stop moving. More efficient to grab materials off the ground than use my passive for that. And now that I'm back at +3, I can hold still again and start using my streamer passive to at least gain some income. This is going to be a wave where we make very little money, but we survived the elite, got the red item, which we're hoping is a good one. And we're going to get our economy back online here. Our high consumable healing is doing a lot of work as well. All right, tragically, Greek Fire, not very good for us. We do have an incendiary turret, so it can do okay with the incendiary turret. On the other hand, 58 is a lot of materials, and that'll help get my passive going, also let me actually buy stuff this wave. I think that killing elites is not something that we're going to struggle with, so I think I have to recycle the Greek Fire there. Take the ranged damage, and then I'm going to spend down to 300 again. I want the lifesteal. I want the move speed. I guess I'll buy the fin here and lock Whetstone. We'll do one reroll, lock a laser gun, lock a laser turret, and go to wave 12. So only starting this wave with +8 passive income, but that will quickly increase. 300 is kind of the threshold for where you start making really good money in a given wave, because it means that you're going to get to the large income amounts pretty quickly, since you start with a reasonable amount. All right, I let one of the enhanced slashers spawn, so I had to do some movement to guarantee we killed that, do some movement to keep my health high here. And again, we have to move to clear those lampreys. But again, it only matters that I'm triggering my passive occasionally and not dying. That is enough to keep our economy high enough that we're going to be really strong. We don't need to make 10,000 materials every wave, and if we try, we're going to lose. We just need to make sure that we're making, several hundred materials every wave. Would love to find a loot worm as well. That would be so helpful. I'm going to take 2 lifesteal here, and then I'm going to buy a laser gun. And I'm going to spend down to... I think we can get away with pushing up to 400 here. So I'm going to buy this shop. And then I'll lock the cape. It does cost me 2 range damage. Pretty painful. But we are building dodge. And the 5 lifesteal is very helpful. And then we'll take a lost duck as well. Sunglasses is good damage. But I'm not actually that worried about increasing my crit chance. And I don't want to reduce my armor. So immediately forced to move a little bit there. The enhanced pufferfish are so far doing a good job of exploding where we don't care about them. I'll run over here and grab the consumable heal as well. I'm going to do some movement to get some material pickup, because even though we're the streamer, and so we'd be making more money by standing still, we need the XP, and I still don't want to carry over doubled materials wave to wave too much. All right, the dodge there was helpful. I should be able to tank most of the incoming damage here, even if I start taking hits. Get a couple 25 material triggers, and then hold still again, and then we have to do a little movement, but we made a bunch of money that wave. Medical turret, of course, great for this character. I'm going to take the 4 engineering. We've actually gotten a lot of structures, so although engineering doesn't scale our actual weapons, that wasn't up against much, and 4 engineering, I think, will be fairly helpful there. Then I'm going to roll. Toolbox, I don't think is worth taking, though attack speed is too important to the laser gun, and then we'll roll here. We're going into a Horde wave, so I'm going to spend down, but not to 0. I think spending to 0 was important in the last boss wave, but not as important for the wave 14 Horde. Do I want a decomposing flesh? I think so. It's going to be like -4 health, +4 lifesteal, something like that. But that's a reasonable item for us. And then Cute Monkey, I don't want Spyglass. I actually do want... This is obviously a high economy run. We're going to be rolling a lot. And so it'll pay for itself. And the range is actually pretty relevant when you're trying to stand still all the time. And then here, I'm going to take... I could mirror the medical turret. I think I will actually spend down and we'll mirror medical turret. That gives me some pretty solid armor. and good healing. Tentacle, I have 6% crit chance. I think it's worth locking, but I'm going to save 100 materials here. And then on the Horde wave, we'll have at least a little bit of ability to clear if needed. Laser gun, of course, is pretty bad at Horde waves because it attacks so slowly, so I don't want to get too greedy this wave. And mirroring the medical turret means a couple things. Obviously, it gave me a bunch of armor, but also it means that no matter where I'm standing still, there's probably going to be a medical turret nearby, so we should usually, because we now have 3 of them across the map, so we should usually be able to hold still, and the medical turret will help heal us up. I am starting to take 1,000,000 damage, though. I need to run over to the garden and get the healing there. Alright, have to run to my medical turret. We're going to have to run through this group of enemies. Alright, this wave was a lot harder than I was expecting, to be honest. But we're using our consumable healing to survive. I'm not going to make any money. But laser gun is terrible at Horde waves. So we only made 300 that wave. But we did survive. Claw tree, I will take this, and we'll take the mushroom here. And then I think I'm going to take the 9 dodge. We have 36 dodge already, so we're actually getting pretty close to dodge cap, and that makes dodge a pretty efficient purchase. And then I'm going to buy the weapon here, and I'll take tentacle, and we'll just go with 250. Lock the landmines because it's a structure. We'll take a weird food still. Increasing my consumable healing matters a lot. This, of course, is going to be a lower income wave because I spent down again. But I just need to get strong enough to survive the next few waves. And with a bunch of armor, we should be in okay shape to try to do that. Here, I'm kind of just parked between my 2 medical turrets, so I should be able to just tank most incoming damage. Though once the blobfish start dying, I'm going to have to start moving here. Clear these lampreys, and we need to use our movement to kill this enhanced hatcher before too many really high health enemies show up, but then I should be able to try holding still again for a little bit. Do a little bit of movement here to clear the hatcher and the loot alien. And a little movement at the end of the wave to survive. Use the big pile of heals from the garden there to stay alive as well. The bonk dog I'm just going to recycle. It's just not going to do anything. I will buy this whole shop. And roll. Level 2 laser gun we'll buy as well. The pearl, I have 40 luck, so this is just 4% damage. I think we're going to pass on the pearl. It's just so expensive. And we'll take broken mouth. We'll take laser gun. We'll roll here. Laser gun does have inherent piercing, so reducing the piercing damage is kind of rough with the sharp bullet, but it only has 1 pierce. It has minus 27% by default, or minus 25% by default, so reducing it by 20 just makes it the normal piercing damage, actually slightly better. So I think we do still want the sharp bullet, and I'll lock the insanity, and then roll one more time. We'll lock a weird food. Fresh meat, I think we can skip. And then we'll go to the next wave here with 300 in the bank. But obviously dealing with large groups of enemies is what we are really struggling with. So although Sharp Bullet isn't my preferred way of gaining extra pierce on this weapon, which already has pierce, so we're losing some value there by reducing our piercing damage, we just need to gain extra pierce. So we're just going to have to accept that. Have to do some movement here to be able to survive, and we'll kind of position next to my medical turret. I don't think the one on the left can get me there. But again, it doesn't matter that I have my passive running permanently. It matters that I trigger it enough that we can buy good items. And so we're just trying to kind of squeeze in a pick or 2 here and there. And every time we do, we get 20 materials, which is amazing. I would love more range damage, but I'm going to take 9 dodge here. We're getting pretty close to dodge cap. And then we'll buy these items and re-roll. Level 4 laser gun. I could sell the level 2, but honestly, I'm not that fussed about selling the level 2 for the level 4. It's really expensive. I will upgrade when we get a level 3. So I'm going to buy the laser gun here. Adrenaline I will lock. That gets me to, well, 53 dodge, because we're going to buy the weird food. But I do think we can get away with being a little greedier wave 17. It's a darkness wave, which is nice for us, because it means that when I have to move, I'm not going to hit environmental projectiles. And also the darkness wave is a lot less, doesn't, matter when you have a ton of structures around. We can still see. So I'm going in with 400 held materials here. I need to clear the enhanced stargazers. The towers obviously are sometimes gonna go off, but when I do some movement, we should be able to clear the enhanced stargazers and the enhanced mini bosses pretty easily. The enhanced blobfish are a little more scary, just because it's so many lampreys at once, but now that I have extra pierce, that actually makes a pretty significant difference. Having to hope to get like 1 or 2 more passive ticks. We did get 2 more before the end of the wave. 15 attack speed, amazing. Now I'm going to spend down to 0 so we can kill the boss easily. And structures can crit. I don't care about. Scarf, I think we don't want. So I'm going to roll here. The fertilizer's a little too late. We'll take the laser gun, of course, and then I will roll. The coupon I'm going to take, I think. It will pay for itself, and then I will roll. All right, we'll take Anvil. That'll just upgrade my last weapon, and we'll lock the Hedgehog as well. And 67 is a fine amount. Obviously, no use for the level 1 laser gun here. Took a pretty substantial hit there, but we should be able to clear this boss relatively easily. We're actually doing less well fighting the boss than I was expecting. I mean, that was still a very easy boss kill, but I was expecting to be able to just clear it immediately with the bonus attack speed and damage from being the streamer, and then the fact that we're a laser gun build, which are typically pretty good against elites. But we actually kind of struggled to take it down. I mean, we didn't struggle to take it down, but it was slower than I was expecting. All right, I should have cleared the Stargazer Tower. I should have done some movement for that, but I was hoping to, again, get a few more passive triggers. We're going to run and pick up some materials here so that my passive triggers are a little more valuable for the remainder of this wave. And we're going to have very little money going into wave 19. The panda is an incredible find. We're very happy with that. I think I'm probably just spending down to 0 this wave as well. We're not going to make a ton of money on our passive kind of regardless. And wave 19 is pretty dangerous. So I'm going to just focus on surviving the next couple waves. I think we're strong enough to beat the bosses, so I don't need to get that much more powerful. We'll lock Metal and Blood Leech here, and then do I want the Lost Duck? We also have, do we have 0 cursed items? No, we got a cursed mushroom, but I built 22 curse and have very few cursed items. I think I will buy the Lost Duck here, and then we'll go to wave 19. This is just a tough wave on Nightmare mode. There's a lot of dangerous enemies, and so although we're giving up a little bit of shopping power going into the last wave, we don't need that much. I think we're strong enough to beat the bosses regardless, so I'm going to focus on making sure I survive the upcoming difficult waves. And if I get a couple, 4 material ticks here and there, then we're happy with that as well. Just doing some movement whenever any of the tough enemies get on top of us. But as you can see, this is a challenging wave with the enhanced goblin sharks just being super dangerous. And so I'm pretty happy that I made the decision to spend down to 0 for this wave. Obviously, if I die on the boss wave, maybe it would have worked out better not to do that. I'll take Sad Tomato here, and then I'm going to take the 6 dodge. Gets me almost a dodge cap. I'll buy the regen potion and the blood leech, I guess. The metal I would have liked as well. but the regen potion, I think, is going to be more useful for keeping us alive. And then we'll roll here. The nail, I was never going to be able to buy because it reduces my ranged damage. We ended up with only 9 range damage on laser guns, so there were probably some opportunities to take some range damage that I should have paid more attention to. That's obviously very, very low. Also, running along that enemy's attack is terrible. I don't know why. My brain just stopped working at the beginning of the wave there. And I just took like 3 hits in a row by trying to catch the boss's attack. I want to be constantly moving this wave because we get boosts to our stats as the streamer. And that's the first boss down. At the start of this run, I was really not thinking that this would be an easy run, but honestly, once we got a full set of laser guns and I got some attack speed, getting these 2 early coffees, or the 1 early coffee, was super important there, of course. And getting these early turrets to increase our armor helped a lot as well. But this run was smoother than I was expecting. Gun streamer is typically, I think, one of the easiest ways to play it. You can also play with engineering, but any gun build on Nightmare mode is always going to be one of the best ways to do it. And the laser guns were surprisingly good, at least once we got out of the initial really tough sequence. Looking at our items here, we ended up pretty poor for a streamer build, but that's because I played it pretty cautiously on a lot of the boss waves. And we bought a lot of items that were important to have. The Catling guns dealt 40k, so those were not that good. I guess they do suffer from losing percent damage from the streamer passive. And you lose a lot of percent damage, so maybe the Catling guns were kind of bad. Though they were able to give me lifesteal, so I'm not devastated to have them. Any run where you get 5 weird foods is going to be kind of a free run. We just got a ton of consumable healing there. And then we bought a bunch of structures. The regen was really good at the end. Tentacle gave us 25 healing. The Spyglass gave us 89 savings, but the range was relevant. And I think that the numbers on Spyglass are actually broken. So I need to report this bug, but in my most recent run, I was noticing that the savings on Spyglass are not reporting correctly, so I need to figure out why that is the case and report it. And then the coupon didn't pay for itself because we ended up not having a high economy run because not having a lot of money for the end of the wave because I spent down on wave 19. We also got 28 healing from the adrenaline because we ended up with a lot of dodge. All right, my friends, hope you've enjoyed this run with the streamer. And of course, if you have, then feel free to leave a comment and hit like. Helps me out with the algorithm, so I appreciate you taking the time to do that. And of course, you can subscribe to my channel for more Brotato and other strategy game analysis. Cheers, folks. I'll catch you next time.